Destination Newry, broadcasting from the very centre of the old town of Newry, our traditionality, and Father Richard Naughton is with us now. Father, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, yeah, and thanks for inviting me to your venue.
It's a great privilege to have you because Clog is very much part of our wider parish, if you like, and at the moment we're broadcasting out to the entire world. The people are getting you in Manhattan, they're getting you in Perth in Australia, all over the place.
I'm glad I put on my best suit.
But you know, would it be any other way with you ever? Well, I think we'll start because the reason for coming, we like to pay, you know, to doff the cap in the direction of Christianity and any religion that respects its neighbour. And Christianity is there at the head of it. And I just see this morning that the Pope's text that was written about Gaudium, the good news, the joy of the good news of the gospel. It's 11,000 copies sold since the end of last year. And they're now into reprint. And
I won't believe it, Charles.
Yeah, he's a huge presence.
I've been told that whatever has a photo of the Pope on the front is selling very well.
God, when we think it. But you know, I find you get we're beginning to get the odd hurler on the ditch kind of thing. It's all very well, him doing this and that and driving his car and the shepherd smelling like the sheep, but he's not going to change anything. But I think I'm so delighted he's there.
Yes.
It's a great sensation.
Well, you know, we're living in a world of image.
Yeah.
And the Pope is a new image. He is an appealing image.
Totally. So.
And that is very appealing to people.
Yeah.
And of course, they are liking what they see.
Yeah.
In which I thought taking the name Francis was brilliant. And it's amazing, such a popular saint, great saint.
Absolutely.
And yet no one had taken the name Francis.
And it's doing no harm for Assisi either.
And I remember that evening, never having heard of him before.
Or his name. Brian Dobson was in the same boat in RTE, my colleague there, and I remember Brian. He was there in Rome and he was saying, and now they're coming out of Abemus Papam, and he was ready to say, he's talk. But then they announced the name.
Bergoglio.
And there was silence from Brian. No one knew who Bergoglio was.
We were all in the same situation.
Oh, for goodness sake, who is this man or whatever? Yeah.
And then it was the simple initial gestures, going back in the bus with the other bishops or the other cardinals, staying in the pension house where he had been. Simple gestures, but I mean,
and asking
they are very communicative.
And asking the folk to pray for him.
Yeah, that was touching.
Was huge,
that was really touching.
Stuff.
Moving.
How's Clog these days? I've told you earlier that your great predecessor, Henry Devlin, very, very dear friend of mine.
Yes.
All through my early journalism.
Yes.
I'm talking 50 years ago now.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah, for me, I would have known Henry. And Henry was truly a remarkable man. Remarkable in his commitment to what he was about. For example, he was into chaplain of the nurses and of the doctors.
I'd forgotten that.
But then, not only was he chaplain to the nurses in Daisy Hill, he became the national chaplain. He also became the chairman of the Catholic Protestant chaplains. He also became the European chaplain. Now, that was so typical of Father Henry Devlin, who was such an extraordinary personality.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was thinking there, Pope Francis, look out if he was still around. But isn't it? I often ponder, where does excellence? You think of the great musicians, Mozart. You think of the great painters, Modigliani. You think of wonderful people of skill and talent. You think of holy men. Where does skill and excellence and goodness go when it dies?
Right.
That's it's the real question.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love, there's the famous Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd.
Oh, yeah.
But I love the phrase, his goodness and kindness will go with him all the days of his life.
Yeah.
Every act of goodness that you have done remains with you. And I often think of even every smile or every act of reaching out to another person.
Yes.
That remains with you always. interesting enough, when a person is recalling another person, they will recall often small things about them, acts of kindness, or the opposite.
Oh, indeed, if it is the opposite, absolutely, yes, indeed, yes.
And that, yeah.
But it's a huge, it's chillingly beautiful, that psalm.
Yes, it is, yes.
And I say that because when you consider, and it can often be the simplicity of, you say a smile at the old lady, or somebody crossing the road, and you say, how are you doing?
Yes.
And maybe that's the first time that week that the person has been spoken to.
Yes. I think, thoughtfulness is such a beautiful virtue and quality to have in people. I'm always very taken by a thank you card.
Yeah.
Or a card wishing well to people. Very small gestures. Yeah. But
hugely
you
important.
Thought about me, and people are moved by that. That card. Well,
and I'm particularly drawn to the ones that are blank inside. It gives me the responsibility of writing.
I only get blank cards.
It's the only one to get. Have you been to the pen shop in Dublin on St. Stephen, just before you go up into Grafton Street, down opposite the Call? Because you can buy there.
Is that
do you know the pens we used to use at school?
Yes, right.
They have those.
Oh, right,
they have blotting paper. They've got ink. They've got nibs. And they've got sealing wax, red sealing wax.
Yes.
And it can often be very, very beautiful to send your message and put the seal on. Now, I did something terribly illegal. I took back from Africa, from northwest Nigeria, with me little slivers of tree bark and stuff that I sealed and brought home.
Yes.
But at the end, when just such cards, in putting the seal on, and then a little sliver of the African wood in a little cross.
Yes.
It's no bigger than your thumbnail.
Yes.
But it's there, and it's meaning, and people, as you say, know that you've been thinking of them.
Yes. I have a friend who's an Austrian nun, and we've been writing for this now, say, 25 years.
Lovely.
Met her by chance.
Yeah.
And she'll always include in her cards some little token of another, say, small card. There's always a little gesture going beyond the actual card itself, you know, and it becomes part of our personality.
It does.
I would never just get a card, simply a card.
No.
There may be a dry flower in it, there may be something else of that nature.
And it's so easy to dry a flower, and I've collected these things and put them in books and brought them home from all over the world. And at various moments when someone needs that, you make sure they get it.
But I think it's more kind of the female quality. I mean, I do admire a lot female qualities that I would associate with the female. I think they are much stronger on that
they can be,
of thoughtfulness and kindness. I mean, that caring nature that you associate
but
with
I mean, we should beat our chests as men and go for it. And, it's a bit like belief in Jesus.
Yes.
I'm too big a guy to believe in Jesus. And I whisper it in case people laugh at me.
Yes.
But the reality is, it's the most important it's the best story in town.
Yes.
There's no beating the story.
Yes.
And I think that's the secret of the courage that you need to take the thing forward.
Well, I actually, my view is that you cannot be truly a Christian without being a witness to your Christianity. I mean, how can you take on a message without the message becoming part of your life? There would be something wrong if it wasn't. No, I believe that I think back about our own years back and the people I knew when I was growing up, and it was deeply, deeply ingrained in them. And you would see it in so many ways that their own faith was part and parcel of their life. It was the way that they saw life. It was the way that they responded. And I often think that the big value of life is how you respond. I always say it's not what happens to you in life, it's how you respond to life. And the response is the caliber of the person. You see the quality of that person in their response. And one of the great privileges as a priest, and I would always say it, one of the great, great privileges is meeting people in very difficult situations and being amazed at their response. And I often say to myself, would I have that spirit, that attitude to respond as these people respond. And I am amazed.
Yeah, I would say, the very fact that you appreciate that area, that you would have the courage and to be responsive, so responsive, because your whole life, it's my belief, my observation, that Christianity is a voyage, that we're on a voyage. We're never there until we get to heaven, if there is a heaven. I describe myself as an optimistic agnostic at times.
Well, I mean, when you say voyage, I mean, the key Christian symbol, image, is that of pilgrimage.
Yeah.
We see ourselves as pilgrims.
Yes.
We see our life on earth as a pilgrimage. We are on a journey. Now, what is wonderful is the journey that you're on.
Absolutely.
And what it makes the journey wonderful is the destination of the journey. Now, the journey is towards God. You might say towards heaven, but I would never use that word. I would say you're going towards God. God is He who is goodness itself, He who is love itself. The more on the pilgrimage that you deepen your spirit of goodness and spirit of true love, the more you are achieving the end of your pilgrimage. You have the true staff of the pilgrim.
Yes,
goodness
indeed.
And love.
Yeah, goodness and love. It's something that, and life surrounds us with the opportunity to respond.
That's what I find marvelous about life, to know that in life I have any amount of opportunities, limitless opportunities of being the person I would like to. I may not be the person, but being the person I would like to be. And I'm very clear about the person I would like to be. The person I would like to be is a person who's a good person, a nice person, a humane person, a responsive person. That's the person I would like to know. Obviously, you and I and other people, we all fall short of that.
We have our good days and bad days.
That is not important.
We keep the effort there.
Yeah, it's not important to fall short.
Yeah.
What is that you have your eyes on where you're going and to whom you are going. That is so beautiful. And that vision of the pilgrimage.
Pilgrimage going ahead.
Yeah, even in recent years, the whole pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela.
Oh, have you done it?
No,
We'll allow you a bicycle for it.
I did do. Years ago, I did the pilgrimage to Lough Derg. And for 25 consecutive years, I did that pilgrimage to Lough Derg.
Wow.
The 3-day pilgrimage.
25 years of it.
Consecutive years. I ended it on my 25th year. I said.
That's a quarter of a century. My poor feet. Richard, we battle our way through Lent. We're on the road, and Easter's over the horizon.
Yes.
What does Easter mean to you as a priest?
Well, Easter is. I would be, priests are now very much more into liturgy. And our whole way of looking at Easter, at Lent, is a liturgical way of looking at Easter and Lent. What is so wonderful about Easter to all priests is the celebration at the end of Easter, at the end of Lent. Lent ends with the Easter Vigil. The Easter Vigil is where you affirm and proclaim your faith in the most dramatic ways, the most beautiful celebrations. After the Second Vatican Council, they had renewal of liturgy. Possibly, I was never, as a young person growing up, I was never at an Easter Vigil. But at 17, when I entered the seminary, I then experienced the sheer beauty of the Easter Vigil, where you proclaim Christ, the light of the world. Christ, the light of the world, in which you renew your baptismal commitments to your faith in Christ, and in which you are, you set out once again to live that Christian life. It is a wonderful affirmation of your faith in a very heightened manner. And in the early church, the ones who were received into the church always received at Easter Vigil.
Yes.
Easter Vigil
was the time.
And for the first week after being received, they were clothed in long white garments, a symbol of the new life.
Wow. We're greatly blessed in what we have got.
Yeah, the liturgy is so extraordinarily
Really
rich,
blessed.
and the prayers of the liturgy go back to 1500 years, 1600 years.
Fantastic
and
sense
they
of continuum.
but so rich.
Yeah.
There is, and the architecture, the liturgy has a beautiful religious architecture, spiritual architecture, and you start to appreciating it. So when you say, what does Easter mean to you? Easter is a time of extraordinary spiritual richness for me, as it is for any Christian, deeply committed Christian person.
Father Richard, the people of Clog are lucky to have you.
Oh, no.
You will please join me sometime again.
I would love to, and I would like to thank you for the invitation. Now, I was slightly hesitant. It's a new format for me.
Yeah.
And but I'm inclined to say yes. So if people ask, you say yes.
Well, yeah.
And that is, I think, again, the response to life. Say yes.
Yes, go
Say
for it.
yes.
Go for it. Richard, thank you. God bless you. Come again.
Right,
God love
Rowan,
you.
yeah.
Take care.
Yeah.
Some music, Andrew.